What's up, guys? Just sharpening Maxamet for the first time. And look at that, like, it's left some interesting residue that I haven't seen after the diamond stones. You typically see a lot of steel, but that's, I don't know, it just looks interesting. But so far I think I've got a burr across most of the blade. Definitely to like right there, struggling by the heel. We'll get it, but it hasn't been bad at all. I mean, we're talking 25, 30 passes right now, which isn't bad. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, doing other things a little different. I made a little wood base for the wicked edge, and I've been out here actually just sharpening while I watch TV. And I actually touched up like all these pair of threes just a little bit. Some of them needs just some stropping, some of them I hit some on the light stones, but I did reshape the tip on my 52-100 and my K390. I kind of rounded that a little bit, so I feel like I've fixed that pretty much. So I decided to give Maxamet a go because that's the next up for the steel test, and I wanted to put a non-factory edge on it, and I kept the factory angle, and in this case it was all the way up to 18 degrees, which is kind of surprising. Usually I get them down, you know, between 15 and 17. I decided to keep that just because of to see how easy it was to sharpen when you keep it the factory angle, and it was actually pretty easy. I just knocked off the burr, so I got a burr on both sides at 200 grit diamonds. Did not take that much time at all. Similar, a little bit longer than 4V did. Again, I didn't reprofile, I just kept the factory angle. I'm sure reprofile will be a lot more difficult, but for the sake of this, I just wanted to see how easy it was to keep that factory angle. I hear all these horror stories about Maxamet. It was fine, no big deal at all. Even knocking the burr, knocking the burr off was no big deal either. So far, I don't see what all the fuss is about Maxamet being hard to sharpen. But I'm gonna have to sharpen this sucker anyway because of that tip. And that's gonna be fun. So before, when I sharpened it at the factory angle, which was around 18 degrees, and seriously, it was no big deal. I have a video that I'll probably put up. I'll probably combine it after I sharpen this damage out here, and then try to fix that tip. That's going to be a bear, because that is a whole chunk of metal missing. Eesh. But I want to see how it is to reprofile. I'm going to have to reprofile that, obviously, to get that chip out. Yeah, that'll be fun, so stay tuned for that video. But edge stability-wise, pretty dang good. I know, like I said, it can cut like forever. All right, guys, so fixing the tip on the Maxamet has not been as bad as I thought. It was originally sharpened at 18 degrees. I dropped it down to 16 degrees. And basically what I've been doing is I've been using my 200 grit diamond wicked edge stone and just kind of working that tip. I mean, I've been working the whole edge, but just kind of trying to slowly reshape the tip. And I think I've pretty much got it fixed on this side. And it hasn't taken me more than 10-15 minutes, if that, to fix that side. So I'm gonna work on the other side now. I dropped both sides down to 16, and we're gonna try to see if we can get that edge fixed up, and then I'll come back and kind of show you the results. But essentially, nothing really to it. Just drop the angle a couple degrees. Just working the 200 grit diamond like I normally would, with some scrubbing motion, kind of like this. Just making sure I don't go more than. You don't want to go. See how it's like. Oh, you can't really see. Yeah, it's really hard to do this overhead. But essentially the tip is only like halfway through the stone. You don't want to go all the way over the stone. You don't go too far off the stone because you'll round the tip. So I've just been working that, and it's actually been working pretty well. So Maxamet has all this like hype, like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to sharpen. And honestly, this is my second time sharpening it. This time I'm actually reprofiling it. I already have a burr on, well, I did, on this side. Probably need to work it again, but I'm going to change angles anyway. So, but honestly, like, not a big deal so far. Tip repair I thought it was going to be a nightmare. It actually hasn't been bad at all. All right, so finished on the 200 and 600 grits. 650. I've been on it for about 20 minutes-ish. I'm going to pull up my janky base so I don't have to undo this. But you can see, and this isn't finished yet, that tip is, it's a little rounded off because I had to like essentially shorten the tip a little bit because of how much steel it's gone. but pretty good. Still got a good tip. I may go at that a little longer on the 200 or the 600 maybe. But it's still got a good tip, but the damage is gone. Like the tip is repaired. You can see there. Pretty awesome, guys, what you can do with the Wicked Edge. Seriously, that was some serious damage. So, like I said, 20 minutes or so, and I've repaired a Maxamet where I pretty much broke the tip off the knife. Pretty crazy. All right, so I was able to fix, if you wonder why that marker's there, so I remember my clamp. I was able to fix that tip pretty well. There's a tip there. It's, like I said, a little more rounded than factory because I lost a good portion of it, but it's definitely fixed, and there's a tip. And if you saw it before, there was nothing there. So, and the tip is sharp too. So, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this, I think. I noticed that some of the edge damage from the edge stability test is still there, so I didn't quite get those chips out. Particularly this one right there is still there. That was the deepest one. So I may go back, and then there's one right here. A little tiny one from, and I figured dropping down to 16 degrees would do it, but it didn't. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time, but the tip is fixed. And honestly, this knife is definitely, I mean, stopping hair, shaving like crazy. It's very serviceable. It would work right now. And I may just wait to resharpen after I do the cardboard cut test, because it cuts just fine, as you can see. It's it snags a little bit on the paper. I don't know the paper in frame. Nice one. It's got a very toothy edge, and it does snag a little bit where there's this, but cardboard wise it'll cut no problem. So I may end up just waiting to sharpen it again until I do the cardboard cut test, which we know is going to be an insane amount of cardboard. I can already tell with the other results people were getting. But tip is repaired, and it wasn't bad, and it only took about 30 minutes start to end, to fix that tip and to sharpen the knife and reprofile to 16 degrees. And honestly, guys, Maxamet's not a big deal. Like, I don't get it. People were freaking out about Maxamet being hard to sharpen. If you have a 200 grit stone, which is all I have on the Wicked Edge Go, is this 200 grit, and it fixed the tip on the Maxamet, and it sharpens it without any ease, and it's easy. It doesn't take long. I mean, it's not hard. I don't think a half an hour sharpening is very long. So yeah, I don't get what the deal is with Maxamet, guys, but I'm gonna probably sharpen. I'm gonna sharpen one more time after doing the cut test, after I get it pretty dull, which from what I've heard is going to be a chore. But just gotta get some more cardboard. I've got some saved up. Gotta get some more to get that done. But I think for now I'm just gonna leave it how it is and just use the knife how it is. It's very serviceable, very usable. And then sharpen it again for the third time after I do the cut test. So overall, it's pretty sharp right now. It definitely has a very, very fine edge. Shaving hair, no problem at all. And I'll probably just leave it here. It's 1000 grit finish. I did strop up to 1 micron with the diamond emulsions, so nothing crazy. Know what I mean? And it's worked great. So way to go, Maxamet. I'm a big fan of this steel. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't get these sharpened out though when doing all that work on it. But I did spend way more time at the tip than I normally would to fix that. So next time I sharpen, I'll be more even on my bevels and stuff. And but my focus of this sharpening was to fix that tip and to get it sharp enough to do the cut test. So that'll be the next step on this guy. Thanks for watching.